Everyone loves dogs, or most people at any rate. What most people don't know, however, is that dogs are also masters of physics. Well, maybe masters is overstating. However, dogs do exhibit some prime examples. This is Maggie. She's a toy poodle and, looking at her bandana, an avid Thunders fan. She is smaller than a standard poodle. However, though she stands at less than a meter tall, she has a loud bark. Due to her smaller size, however, her bark is more shrill than that of a larger dog. Here's Oscar, a mutt with some corgi and chihuahua in there somewhere. He also has a higher pitched bark, and actually, since he's smaller than Maggie, it's even higher pitched than hers. And now Charlie. Being in Newfoundland, she has the deepest bark, or lowest frequency, of all of our dogs. These differences can be explained with the laws of pitch. Frequency is indirectly related to length, diameter, and density. It's directly related to tension. Charlie has longer and larger vocal cords than Maggie and Oscar due to their different sizes, so her barks and growls are far deeper than theirs. Notice different colors on each dog.
They can be
Due to the different
friends.
amounts of melanin in each different coat, different hues and values are produced in the fur. Melanin is a pigment that acts as a filter to the light as it bounces off. This is subtractive color mixing, whereas additive mixing only occurs in objects that give off their own light. If you were to recreate Oscar's reddish brown fur with printer ink, you would need yellow and magenta pigments to produce red, with some cyan to darken the color. Remember here that all pigments mixed subtractively create black. Charlie and Maggie have grayish black coats because the melanin pigment absorbs almost all of the light that hits it. What light that is reflected comes back in equal proportions, making a grayish color. Bentley, notorious for being messy and kind of gross, has fur that has a duller matte quality rather than glossy. This is due to the way each of the hairs reflect light. Matte surfaces are actually very uneven and bumpy when you magnify them, causing each ray of light to reflect at a different angle, although still obeying the law of reflection. This eliminates any glossy appearance to a coat. Now Kira's fur is much smoother and shinier. This is because the oils are different within the fur. Glossy surfaces like this are created when light reflects off a smooth surface, and each ray leaves at about the same angle. Now we'll look at torque. Kira likes to fetch and carry sticks around, which, if you look at it, is basically a fulcrum system, even if it takes her a couple minutes to pick up the stick. The stick is the lever arm in this situation, and her mouth is the fulcrum. The force of the weight vector of the stick is located at its very center, and any other force that creates torque on it, say she runs past a tree and catches it on the way past, the force of her forward motion times the distance from the stick's fulcrum will determine how much it rotates backwards out of equilibrium position. Next, we'll look at sound and hearing. Although the shape of the ear canal is different, dogs and humans share similar inner ear structures. We both have the tympanic membrane, 3 ocelles, the cochlea, etc. However, humans can detect sounds at frequencies from 20 to 20,000 Hz, and dogs can hear from 67 to 45,000 Hz. Like with humans, this range can narrow as a dog ages, especially in 2 breeds in particular, German Shepherds and miniature poodles, as it so happens that's Kira and Maggie. The threshold of hearing for humans is about 10 decibels, but for dogs it is lower as they have more sensitive ears. This means they can hear lower amplitudes of sound and have 18 muscles in their ears that humans lack to move them to receive sounds as accurately as possible. Upright structure ears, more like a wolf's, like Kira's, are most effective for this, and the floppier ears, like Maggie's, created by domestication, are less effective. Humans have 3 types of cones in their eyes sensitive to colors. one for red, one for green, and one for blue. Dogs' eyes work differently. They have only two types of cones. One's for yellow and one's for blue. This means they see the world similarly to red-green colorblind humans. This color bar versus this photo shows how a dog may see the world compared to a human. We can also look at another eyesight application for dogs. The thin bluish films you can see here in Kira's eyes are called cataracts. She's only 4 and she has had them since she was young, so they are probably a result of inbreeding somewhere in her line, as she's a purebred. Just like in humans, the lenses of a dog's eye are made of water and proteins. As the dog ages, or as a result of genetic predisposition, these proteins can begin to clump together and disrupt the structure that kept the lens transparent. As the lens becomes cloudy, the light cannot pass through clearly, and the image created on the retina becomes blurred. As a result, Kira can't see as clearly as the other dogs. One final cool thing about dogs is that they have kind of an extra sense. They can sense the Earth's magnetic field. The only way we know this is because multiple studies have found that dogs are very likely to orient themselves magnetic north to south when relieving themselves. This occurrence increases as magnetic field conditions, which do fluctuate over time and distance, are stable at that time and in that place. Magnetic sensitivity is useful for birds and herd animals for migration, but we really have no idea what purpose this might serve for canines. Goes to show that there is a lot we still don't understand about biology, physics, and our dogs.